They're going to get them because they get a chance to get big chances at the free throw line, and that means double figures, 12, 14 attempts.
Away from the ball, Michael Jordan called for his second foul, an elbowing call on Michael, and it gives the ball right back to Philadelphia.
He's got to chase Hersey Hawkins, but Horace Grant helps out. Now they'll have to work against the clock.
Rulin with a screen, and a tough screen at that. Gets it right back on the pick and roll, takes it to the hoop for two. Jeff Rulin, who retired from the game after a knee injury in the 86-87 season, has returned after having his knee repaired 5 years out of the game, and he said he appreciates every little aspect of it now. That's how much he missed the game. Grant got behind the defense to bank it home.
Again, the double team cost him with the good passing of Scottie Pippen. They find Horace Grant right at the rim.
Inside the 2-minute mark of the first half. Isolation for Hawkins.
You hear the bench yelling, get out. They're trying to get someone over to help, but they don't in time.
And Hawkins shoots over Armstrong. Philadelphia on another run. Look at Jordan. Fans love it. Left hand, Michael. A buzz still going through the crowd after that display of the Jordan Magic.
What Jordan does on those types of drives is try to demoralize his defender, to tell him no matter what you do, you can't stop me from getting the spot that I want. Barkley, trying to get the spot he wants, will pick up the third personal foul against Scottie Pippen. There's a fake. He gets him off his feet. Now I just hold the ball, say, what do you want? Which way do you want me to go? All right, I'll come down the middle, squeeze in by everyone. And if you're going to beat Jordan, you got to stop him from getting deep in the paint. So the defender has got to step out and make Jordan shoot a perimeter shot.
3 Sixers had a shot at him that time, and they all came up with only air. Barkley continues his free throw string, now 8 in a row. Could be big, though, that Scottie Pippen in the first half has picked up 3 fouls, and he'll go to the bench right here.
So, Tom Hammond, do you think that they had an official for that one-on-one commercial they did? Because if it did, that means Barkley is probably the winner.
I'd say. Barkley has missed the free throw for the first time, but it's slapped out and kept alive in the Sixers' control. Barkley was only 2 of 7 against the Mavericks Friday night, but he is 8 of 9 this afternoon, and Barkley will go back to the strike. Livingston's second foul.
Sending Charles Barkley to the free throw line, shoot 2.
Quick first step, and Barkley's able to get head and shoulders clearly by Cliff Livingston. He wanted 2 tries. He's at the line anyway. Now that looks like the Charles Barkley that they normally see at the line. He's about a 70% shooter, coming back to earth after having a pretty good run now, 8 of 10.
Yeah, he had his first 8, now he's missed 2 in a row. 1:01 left in the half. The Sixers with the lead, 55-48. Back door, Armstrong missed it. Rulin fires a pass in the front court and nearly threw it away. Cartwright deflected it. Livingston made a charge at it, couldn't control it. Sixers got away with a bad pass.
Big guys never listen to the little guys. Dawkins is standing right there saying, here you go, here you go, here you go. He wanted to throw that home run pass. It was in his mind. He was going to throw it anyway, and they're lucky to get the ball back.
Here's Dawkins with a quick shot. Johnny Dawkins having one of his best offensive games in recent weeks. And the Bulls, with 32.1 seconds left, will call a timeout.
It's a 20-second timeout, and what Phil Jackson wants to do is to try to get the defense set to stop them a couple of times before they go into the locker room.
All right. Get a foul here. What the fuck, they all step out, flip in him. That cut right here, off this screen. Got it, cross the ball to him. That kick MJ on one. Look down the club.
Phil Jackson mapping the strategy. 32.1 seconds left, and Philadelphia enjoying its biggest lead, a 9-point edge.
They're going to run a back pick play for Michael Jordan. They want to try to get him going to the hoop, make sure they get something good at the offensive end, and then at the same time try to come back and get a stop.
Michael will step to the line after floating baseline and drawing the foul. Jeff Ruland's second personal.
Jeff Ruland is second. 76ers.
What about the shooting of Johnny Dawkins of Philadelphia? So first watch this replay, Stafford.
They got the ball to Jordan where they wanted with an open side, and when he's in that position, his athleticism and ability to make up shots is going to help him get chances to get to the line. There was an example of it right there. Jordan has been kept off the line for much of the first half of play. He's got 13, working on 14.
Scott Williams back for the final 26.1 seconds. As Michael shooting for his 14th point.
Well, to answer your question about Dawkins, in order to get out of a slump, you got to keep shooting the ball. They spent a lot of time doing it yesterday. Today, he feels confident. He's looking at the basket. All of the balls have gone in. So, no, I have no problem. Double team.
Dawkins has hit 4 of 5, breaking out of a shooting slump in a big way. Ruland. Grant with a rebound for the Bulls. They can take the final shot of the half. But they don't wait. Jordan from long range.
Fans upset with Ruland because he took that try. Hawkins had the chance to get it away.
And his shot comes up short. Sixers wanted a foul, but they say no, partially blocked. Jim Lynam charging on the court, asking for the call, but he didn't get it. Barkley and Jordan on display in Philadelphia, and at halftime, the Sixers with a 5-point lead. Now stay tuned for the Prudential halftime report with Bob Costas after these messages.
Okay, the Sixers shoot 60% from the floor in the first half, lead 57-52. The Bulls have won 2 out of 3 this year against Philly. Oddly enough, the only time the Sixers beat them early December, they did it without Charles Barkley. They were without Barkley when he jammed his neck and went to the locker room for a stretch, but came back and played enough to score 17 in the first half, 9 of them from the free throw line and 4 field goals.
Well, it's good to see that he got to the foul line, but the thing about the Bulls, if you're going to get the Bulls, there's like a 15-game window from like game 57 to 72, and that's the window because teams tend to go in a slump looking toward the end of the season. For the Bulls, once they get to game 72, they're going to be really strong going into the playoffs.
Of course, if the Bulls want to reach that 70 victory plateau, which has never been reached, all they got to do is win this game and the next 19. They need to win the next 20 in a row to finish out the year. They'd be 70-12.
Well, yes, they definitely need to do that. But you know what? The game here also has some other little insights. I've watched the Bulls play defense a lot of times, and they've now started to communicate without even telling each other what they want to do. I've seen them particularly guarding Charles Barkley. You know, he went out, but you know when he gets the basketball, he likes to split the defense. Now watch here where you see Pippen and Grant actually prevent the split by grabbing each other. You don't see that very often. There was no communication really verbally about that. It's just make sure Charles Barkley does not split the defense. I like that idea.
Talk about boxing a guy in. That is some real team play.
Great team play.
I like to see it when teammates are close that way.
Do you really?
You know, you talk... You talk about, you know, Jordan, who had 16 in the first half, and everybody talks about Pippen stepping up, and overlooked is Grant. The block shots are up, the rebounds are up, the scoring is up. This guy has really become, certainly not at the level of a Pippen or a Jordan, but he is a very, very good ball player.
He's a good ball player to the point that this year both Pippen and Jordan tried to get him on the All-Star team. He was close. We'll see what happens next year, but he is having a great year.
Yeah, he's been a defensive force. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Magic Johnson. We'll take a look at the struggles of his former team, the Lakers. That's right after this message from Prudential and a word from the NBA.
Halftime at the Spectrum with the 76ers leading the Bulls by 5. Welcome back to Philadelphia after one of the best halves of the season for Philadelphia. Steve, take a look at our Miller Genuine Light halftime stats and show us some of the reasons why.
Well, you were worried that the Philadelphia 76ers were not going to be able to play, that Johnny Dawkins weren't going to shoot the ball well. He has come out 4 of 5 and shot the ball extremely well. Both teams shooting the ball better than 50% from the field, so both teams have to feel good. Michael Jordan doing an outstanding job of going back and collecting rebounds along with 16 points. The Sixers have 1 rebound edge, and Philadelphia has to feel good because they've been suffering in the rebound area. Comparisons between the two superstars, they've almost neutralized each other's efforts this afternoon.
And Barkley, despite the injury in the first quarter when he took a blow to the skull, with 17 points, and he's done a good job passing the ball as well.
Well, for Charles Barkley, he's here, and he always commands a double team. The Chicago Bulls like to do it from here, and he's going to beat the double team by getting rid of the basketball before Will Perdue can get to him, and that's going to get an easy 2 points for Armand Gilliam. The idea of the double team is to make that ball go outside, not inside. Barkley has done his job today.
And a reminder, at the end of today's game, we will be selecting the Miller Genuine Draft Play of the Game. Third quarter will unfold from the Spectrum when we return. Ready to start the third quarter with Philly leading, and Michael and Charles have been up to advanced billing. Superb first halves in both cases.
Barkley has spent the entire few minutes there talking to the official, George Tolliver, about that play that almost broke his neck, so he wanted to make sure that the officials keep giving him that whistle.
I've seen a lot of smiles from Charles today, and when he's smiling like that, he's usually playing some pretty good basketball, and he has indeed.
We've seen some excellent ball movement, player movement. The Sixers start off with a good play. Gilliam can't catch.
Bulls have their starting 5 on the floor. Pippen, Grant, Cartwright, Jordan, and Paxson. Here's a Sixer steal. Dawkins has Barkley trailing, put it up. Barkley follows it through. 19 for Charles. The Sixers have their starting quintet intact: Barkley, Gilliam, Ruland, Hawkins, and Dawkins.
Well, yesterday in practice, they went over this play. Every first out of the ball game, and in the third quarter, they go to Bill Cartwright. They broke the first one up. They get him to take a tough shot right here, and the 76ers look to be running out of those misses.
Hawkins fouled, and he gave it the sound effects, too. That's number 3 on Michael. No, excuse me, they took one of those away in the first half. They originally had him with 2, and that is only his second.
This comes from Stephen King, as he lets out a tremendous grunt there. He's trying to scare somebody to death, but that gets Johnny Dawkins on the line.
And Dawkins, one of his best games in recent weeks. Again, the index knuckle of his left shooting hand, swollen and bruised. Had an x-ray, but not broken, but very painful. Shooting well today despite that injury.
For most of this afternoon, they have been able to keep the Chicago Bulls out of a transition game. They're now trying to find some inside play for Cartwright and Horace Grant. They come back to Cartwright.
Good catch by Michael. Cartwright with the offensive board.
Ruland officiating, tell them that he got held, but nonetheless, they come back with the ball, and Pippen will go to the line.
Pippen is shoved as he makes his way to the hoop. Number 2 on Barkley.
Personal foul, Charles Barkley. That is his second personal.
We were asking Jeff Ruland yesterday how the game had changed in the 5 years he had been absent. He said, well, one thing, they have 3 officials now, so I thought the officiating would be much better. He said, why, the other night against the Mavericks, not only were they holding me with 2 hands, they had a takedown or 2. He said, I couldn't believe it. I thought the officiating would be better by now.
Fans feel the same way. The more eyes you have doesn't necessarily mean that the nature of the game changes. The athletes have certainly gotten better.
Ruland with another foul. 2 in quick succession on the Sixers.
His third personal, team second.
Coaches hate breakdowns on the free throw line, and after a miss, the 76ers went to the ball. They didn't get control of it. That left Horace Grant right at the rim. Ruland picks up another personal.
33-year-old Jeff Ruland with his third personal foul.
Horace Grant has another.